Good morning.
Morning.
We will call the April 1st, 2025 City Council meeting to order. I'm going to ask Councilman Russ McKelvey if you would lead us in our invocation and pledge. If you would, please stand.
Pray with me, please. Father God, we thank you for another beautiful day in Jackson, Tennessee. Thank you for the renewal of spring and the renewal of our beautiful city. We ask, Lord, that you bless this community, all of its people, all of its visitors. And we also ask that you guide us, those of us making decisions today, that we will do so in a way that honors you and the people that we serve. Please keep us safe, keep our community safe, and keep our city workers safe. May we honor you in all things that we do. It's in your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We have a packed house today. I expect the attendance to be just the same at the end of the meeting as it is right now.
That's right. That's right.
Roll call, and I saw, did I see Councilman Dodd? Yeah, oh, you're leaning back, I couldn't see you right there, all right. All right, you see all council members are present. You have approval of the minutes from the March 4th, 2025 City Council meeting. Those minutes were emailed out. There are no additions or corrections. They stand approved as read. We have a couple of proclamations and recognitions. Have our fire department come up as I'm headed down. Start us off.
Mash it down.
Standing room only today. All in here, guys, like y'all like yourself. You'll never see better mustaches in the fire department. So I'll tell you that right now. So on January 19, 2025, 911 call was received by Jackson Central Dispatch reporting a commercial structure fire at 106 Burkett Street in Jackson. Jackson Fire was dispatched and arrived on the scene to find an apartment complex engulfed in flames, with 3 apartments actively burning and fire spreading rapidly. Due to the magnitude of the fire, Engine 12, Captain Chris Morrill, driver Wesley Jackson, firefighter Justin Gullett, and Engine 13, driver Brian Donaldson, firefighter Daniel Duncan, and firefighter Hunter Wells were responsible for the fire attack. Truck 1, Captain Jonathan Stanfield, driver Nick Henson, firefighter Brian Bain, Rescue 2, Captain Zachariah Dempscher, driver Blake Davis, firefighter Cameron Jackson, conducted search and rescue. Engine 22, Captain Josh Collins, firefighter Michael Doris, firefighter Mason Howard, ensured water supply, and Medic 31, Captain James Faulkner, firefighter Jeremy Smith provided medical assistance. Battalion Chief Randy Hayes coordinated the scene. During the incident, Rescue 2 located an unconscious male inside one of the burning apartments. Captain Zachariah Dempscher and firefighter Cameron Jackson successfully extracted the victim and transferred him to Medic 31, where immediate life-saving measures were initiated. Due to the seamless efforts of all the crews executing their assigned tasks with speed and precision, the victim's life was saved. The coordinated efforts of these firefighters exemplify the highest standard of skill, professionalism, and dedication. Their heroic actions ensured the successful rescue and survival of a citizen in dire need. So on behalf of the City of Jackson, the Jackson Fire Department, and the citizens of our community, I hereby recognize each of you with a letter of commendation. Your commitment to service and life-saving efforts reflects the finest traditions of the Jackson Fire Department. right, next we're going to recognize Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month. Representatives for that. They were out in the hallway. Carl Perkins Center? Okay. All right, okay, back there. Gotta be in the traffic jam back there.
I don't know what deal is on there.
I wonder if y'all's gonna get up.
All right, proclamation reads, whereas we need to recognize that child abuse and neglect is a serious and growing problem that changes life's path for nearly 4 million of our nation's children annually. Whereas this problem, which has reached epidemic proportions in all regions of our nation, respects no racial, religious, socioeconomic, or geographic boundaries and can prevent children from following the road to successful future. Whereas we need to take steps to educate the public on child abuse and its causes. And whereas the Carl Perkins Center for the Prevention of Child Abuse, through its parents training, educational programs, and community service activities, supports the community in preventing and dealing with child abuse to improve the quality of family life for our children and families. Now therefore, I, Scott Conger, Mayor of the City of Jackson, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2025 shall be observed as Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month. I further commend the Carl Perkins Center for the Prevention of Child Abuse for its continued success in helping families break free from the cycle of abuse and urge full public support for their successful efforts.
We are rounding up child abuse in April for Child Abuse Prevention Month, and I'm gonna keep it really short this year. I could talk a long time about it, but the thing that people don't understand and the barrier that we face is the prevalence of child abuse. 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually abused before the age of 18. 90% of the time, it's somebody that the kid knows and has some type of relationship with. So this is a real scary thing. So what can you do to help? Well, number one, educate yourself. Because if you don't know what's happening, how do you do anything about it? You know, we do this every day all across West Tennessee. And so educate yourself. How can you protect your family and the children that you love? Call the center. We do all kinds of educational trainings and events, and we will be happy to come help you in any way. Thank you so much.
Before I begin, I want to recognize also, too, County Mayor, Mayor Massey back there. Glad to have you with us today, yeah. Not to put you on, you want to come up here? This is a joint proclamation. Yeah, come on up here. Yeah. Got to recognize Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So I know we have some representatives from RAP. Whereas Sexual Assault Awareness Month is intended to draw attention to the fact that sexual violence is widespread and has public health implications for every community member, the City of Jackson and Madison County. Whereas the City of Jackson and Madison County, Tennessee share a critical concern for victims of sexual violence and a desire to support their needs for justice and healing. Whereas rape, sexual assault, and sexual harassment impact our communities as seen by statistics indicating that every 68 seconds an American adult is sexually assaulted, and every 9 minutes the victim is a child. Whereas in 2023, more than 934 reports of forcible rape and/or sexual assault were made to law enforcement in West Tennessee. According to the TBI, approximately 10% of those West Tennessee victims of sexual assault were served by RAP. Current estimates suggest that for out of every 1,000 sexual assaults, no more than 31% will be reported to law enforcement, and no more than 3% of those reports will result in conviction. Whereas we recognize the strength, courage, and resilience of survivors, and with appropriate support, survivors can heal and regain their power. Whereas RAP requests your support for the public awareness campaign to illuminate West Tennessee. The campaign is designed to shine light on the prevalence of sexual violence in West Tennessee and to improve the response of friends, family members, and community professionals so they can help victims access support services and resources to engage the criminal justice system. Whereas the City of Jackson and Madison County acknowledges that survivors of sexual violence come from diverse backgrounds, identities, cultures, and communities. Join RAP in celebrating these unique characteristics of survivors which help aid them in the healing and discovery of their own resilience. Whereas the City of Jackson and Madison County strongly support the efforts of national, state, and local partners, as well as every citizen to actively engage in public and private efforts, including conversations about what sexual violence is, how to prevent it, and how to help survivors connect with services. Now, therefore, we, Scott Conger, Mayor of the City of Jackson, Tennessee, and A.J. Massey, Mayor of Madison County, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim April 2025 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
April is Sexual Violence Awareness Month, and RAP, along with the Safe Hope Center, has been partnering and collaborating to ensure that survivors of sexual assault receive justice. We facilitate them in restoring their autonomy. Safety is first, and restoration is most definitely a part of the process. At the Safe Hope Center, we collaborate together where there could be a one-stop shop so that survivors do not have to continuously go through the system a la carte, but can get it all one meal at a time. If you know or if you have survived sexual violence, you can call RAP at 1-800-273-8712, and the Safe Hope Center is located at 512 Roland Avenue. Thank you.
Didn't know I had so many proclamations with your name on it. Next up, we have Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Whereas every day, 911 public safety telecommunicators from the City of Jackson Police Department, Jackson Fire Department, Madison County Sheriff's Department, Madison County Fire Department, Jackson MedLink, and the Tennessee Highway Patrol answer requests for emergency aid from the public with professionalism and compassion. Whereas the efforts of these unseen first responders to answer calls for help, gather information, and ensure that appropriate assistance is provided have saved countless lives. Whereas the work of these 911 public safety telecommunicators is invaluable and deserves public recognition and appreciation. Whereas the United States Congress designated the second full week in April as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week to recognize the high-quality communication services provided by our 911 public service telecommunicators. Whereas Jackson and Madison County hereby honor and commend the 911 public safety telecommunicators for their professionalism, commitment, compassion, and steadfast pursuit of their goal to protect life and property. Now, therefore, we, Scott Conger, Mayor of the City of Jackson, Tennessee, and A.J. Massey, Mayor of Madison County, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim the week of April 13th through the 19th as Public Safety Telecommunicators Week.
Mayor says I have something to say, and my group say 1 minute. So, good morning. I would just like to let you know that this is a couple, just a very few couple of individuals that work for Central Dispatch here in the city. Our city in Madison County is very fortunate to have the dispatchers and the 911 operators that we currently have. Like the mayor mentioned, we also have Madison County Sheriff Dispatch, we have Madison County Fire Dispatch, we have EMS MedLink Dispatch, THP Dispatch, as well as Central Dispatch that dispatch for city police and city fire, located right here within our jurisdiction, and we all work wonderfully together. It's a very striving job every day. The calls are different every day that they receive them. The 911 calls are different. The emergency line calls, administrative lines are very different. If you let them know that you need help, they're going to send you help. Just let them know what the surroundings are and what is going on. We greatly appreciate your opportunity and your time and your assistance when we do receive those phone calls. And I'd also like to let you know that U.S. Congress has also reclassified 911 operators to now being the official first responders. So U.S. Congress has just passed that bill. So we're looking forward to great things happening with this and all the 911 operators. And we'd like to thank the mayor, both mayors, city and county, and the council. Thank you very much.
All right. Last proclamation is Jackson Arts Council Local Arts Advocacy Day.
While they're coming, Mrs. Darlette Samuels asked me to pass along the fact that she's out of town today and could not be here with you all. Make sure you tell her that I said that.
Make sure that's reflected in the minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas the Jackson Arts Council was chartered by the state of Tennessee December 13th, 1967, for the purpose of fostering, promoting, and encouraging the development of the arts. Whereas the Jackson Arts Council stimulates and fosters public participation in the arts. Whereas the Jackson Arts Council serves 8 counties and is a designated agency for the Tennessee Arts Commission and Artsville Communities Grant. Whereas the Jackson Arts Council has raised millions of dollars for the arts, secured hundreds of thousands in grant funding for this region, built a cultural arts center known as the NED in 1997, hosted numerous arts and cultural events, and provided arts advocacy locally, statewide, and nationally. Whereas the Jackson Arts Council serves as the umbrella organization for arts groups, artists, and cultural institutions, providing communication services, professional development opportunities, arts education programming, and advocacy at the local, state, and national levels. Whereas the Jackson Arts Council primarily focuses on the development and growth of all art forms, the staff actively participates in public arts commission through the city of Jackson and supports their efforts in the development of public art installations, as well as other art organizations. Our goal is to continuously strengthen our community through arts and culture. Now therefore, I, Scott Conger, Mayor of the City of Jackson, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim April 1st, 2025 as Jackson Art Council Local Arts Advocacy Day.
You make it look worse when you dodge. Everybody probably got to worry about running.
Thank you, Mayor and Councilman, for allowing us to speak today. Will the members of the local arts organizations and artists please stand? Thank you all for coming and being supportive. The growth of the arts and culture sector is not by accident. The increase in activities you have seen in the arts is very intentional. What you have seen is a direct investment from the public to grow the arts and culture sector here, and it's working. I know many of you have seen the article published by USA Today listing Jackson as 3rd of the top 10 cities in the country for street art. All local arts organizations and artists here are working tirelessly to share their work with you and the citizens who live here, making Jackson a more beautiful, livable place to be. The Arts Council continues to add additional programming, including the Jackson Art Box to the school systems and the First Friday Art Walks. The first Art Walk of the year will be this Friday at 5 o'clock on East Main Street, and we're holding 6 of them this year. Not only do these artists and arts organizations beautify our community, drive tourism, and attract and retain residents, they drive significant economic activity. The Jackson Arts Council continues to gather data with Americans for the Arts about the economic impact of the arts and culture sector here in Jackson. Based on the 2023 study, we know that Jackson spends at least $7.2 million a year on attending arts and cultural events in the city of Jackson. Now I would like to introduce Dr. Delita Johnson, who's our Executive Director of the Jackson Arts Council.
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor, City Councilman, for having us this morning. I'll be quick. So just a little bit more information about the Jackson Arts Council. Between the Tennessee Arts Commission and the City of Jackson, the Jackson Arts Council obtained $102,730 of public funds for the local arts and cultural sector fiscal year 2025. 90% of the Jackson Arts Council annual budget is allocated towards programming compared to the minimum recommendation of 65%. We are so very proud of this number because that means that we give back 90 cents for every dollar. Yes, thank you. We focus on programming on 4 main ideas: grants, advocacy, accessibility, and the Arts Coalition. In FY 2025, 23 arts and cultural grants were awarded to the following. And if you're here, stand please. Rivertime Players, the Jazz Foundation of West Tennessee, Freed-Hardeman University, the Griot Collective of West Tennessee, Ballet Arts of Jackson. We gave 2 to Jackson Theater Guild, Arts in McNary, the NED, Renaissance on Main, Jackson Symphony, Jackson Madison County School System, Jackson Downtown Development, Jackson International Food and Arts Festival, Jackson Choral Society, Hub City Production, Belinda Patterson, Hattie Marshall Duncan, City Productions, Alice Harden, Noah Stewart, Stephanie Wilburn, and Bill Marable. So again, we're so proud of what we're doing at the Jackson Arts Council. Thank you.
All right, thank you all. And next we're going to have library expansion progress updates. Good morning.
Thank you for letting us take just for a moment here. Are they going to project our, hope y'all can see the screen. I hope they can get that projected to you. While I'm waiting on that, are there any library board members in the audience? I believe that some will come in. Olivia Abernathy.
We have 2 over there too.
Beth Ann Simpson. Sue Vagers, would y'all stand? Susan Francisco. Those are all library board members that came in support today, and this is Philip Mullins, our library board chair. I'll go ahead and start because I know y'all are short on time today. The library averages 15,000 visits per month, and this is hard data. We have people counters on our doors. I know you like hard data, Larry, right? So 15,000 people come in the library each month. 1/3 of that is at our North Branch, and 2/3 are at our main library. That's over 500 people a day that are coming into the library. The circulation for 23-24, the last full year, was over 420,000 items that year, and we're trending bigger than that, larger than that for this year. We had over 1,000 programs in 23-24, so that just some of those were put on by library staff, others were partnership programs. So we're growing greatly. Yeah, okay, hang on. I'm trying to get out of his way where he could do that. I really wanted y'all to see these pictures because I'll just keep going because I know y'all don't have much time. If I can get the slides to go. There we go. So in 2019, the library board wanted a feasibility study done about the library, so they asked the Library Foundation would they pay for it, and they did. And they brought in a guy named Anders Dahlgren, and he did some very thorough work. He examined data of the library usage for years gone by. He looked at the state minimum standards. He interviewed community stakeholder focus groups, and I think some of y'all may have been in some of those meetings, and looked at library trends. As a result of that study, the library board made the strategic plan for the library from that data, and it called for a main library of no less than 65,186 square feet, which right now we have 30,000. It called for a north branch of 12,242 square feet, which right now is currently around 3,500. An increased space for collaboration and use of technology and more meeting rooms. And what was really important was they wanted the main library to stay where it is right now, downtown. So the city and county put together and bought 2 houses that were for sale adjacent to the library property on College Street, and they pulled them down and prepared the ground for future expansion. This year, the city and county funded the schematic design of the library out of library capital for $204,000. Bids were taken and interviews were conducted, and they hired 4F Design as the architect and Archimania as the design company. They put a bid in together to do this. So at this point, almost $500,000 has already been invested in the city and county expansion of the library. I wanted to show you the schematic design. It shows the structure of the library now and an outline of what we would add to it. You can't see that, so I'm so sorry. So let me just draw you a quick picture. The sample design looks like if you were standing on Lafayette looking at the library. The left side where Rotary Park is would become parking places. There would be an entrance on that side of the building, and we would have another meeting room that would be large. In addition to 2 other ones, we would have an archival space for our award-winning Tennessee room, which y'all know just recently won a major state award. We would have study rooms. We have none now, and people are asking for them daily. So we would add some study rooms. We would have 1 entrance, 1 exit. We currently have 3 entrance exits, which is a nightmare for law enforcement and safety purposes of the library. And we also wanted to add a drive-through for convenience, so people with multiple children wouldn't have to get out in the rain and drag all their children in and out just to pick up a few books. The second floor would totally be for the young people. It would be the children's area, the teen space, and the maker space. And they would all be co-joined together so that they could share meeting rooms, and it would protect the kids. Ever since I came to the library, that's been a major focus of mine. We built the fence around the kids' area. We put a staff desk right inside that fence so that we could watch who all was entering that space. And if we had the children on the second floor, the welcome desk would be close to the stairwell, and we could see who all was going upstairs. And so if it was somebody that didn't have a child or wasn't a teen, we would know they didn't really need to be going up there. So it would really help out with a big issue, in that area. So next is the design development. The architects told us last week when we met with them that this should only be done 14 to 18 months before the construction begins. The estimated cost of the design development is $789,596, and the estimated cost of construction and renovation is $32,228,390. And I would like to say, that cost is split between city and county, so whenever the time comes, you have to keep that in mind, that it's split between the city and county. And I just ask today that y'all remember us as you're going forward in your planning. The library is very important to the community. It serves as a community hub. I just can't imagine downtown without the library, really. We bring so many people to this area. And thank you so much for supporting the library. Ever since I've been here, y'all have been very supportive of what we're trying to do and supporting our efforts to be the best we can for the citizens of Jackson. So I really appreciate that. And I know everybody that uses the library appreciates it as well. So thank you for that. Do y'all have any questions?
I do.
Yeah, go ahead, Frank.
Yes.
What happens to Rotary Park? Will it be moved somewhere?
To be totally honest with you, Rotary Park has become a big problem, an issue with the library. We can keep it, looking okay, but the fountain, we cannot keep the fountain working. It's continual problems, and we've been told multiple times that the permanent fix is going to be to dig it up. Major work of digging it up to fix it. So I've already asked, I can't think of her first name, but Carolyn Vaughn, to have a meeting with the Rotary Board to let them know what we're thinking about that we can do since it is called Rotary Park, we want to do something inside the library to honor the Rotary Club. But we need the space for parking, and we're having issues with things that are going on in the park, so it would be a blessing to, to change that.
Ms. Harris,
Yes,
I just want to say thank you so much for your heart, because it is truly one of service,
Thank
and
you,
you
yes, ma'am.
really have strived to serve this community.
thank you.
I've seen that for both of you. Thank you so much. This is great. And you have always advocated for the children's park to expand that, and that's great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Can you email us the photos?
I'd love to.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
Yes,
would
I
be
appreciate-
appreciated.
actually have, I could do that.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd love for y'all to sit. Now, when you look at it, there's the schematic design that is on there is a sample. It is not the one that we're gonna use. Honestly, they gave us several, and we took them and we cut them up and pieced them back together and made a Frankenstein model, we called it, of what we really, the places that we want to be adjacent to each other for safety issues and all that kind of stuff, so.
Yeah, I wish you could see the picture right now that Dinah had on her computer, because when you hear her go through it, when she's looking at the picture, her excitement
Oh, yeah.
for an expanded library makes everybody else excited too.
Yes.
The present library was built in 1968, so it's been almost 27 years since it's, 57 years.
Yep.
57 years since there's something done at the library. So we think this is the time to expand again and serve the community.
Yep,
All right,
thank
any
you.
other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank
Donnie,
y'all
you
for
just hang out
giving
right
us
there.
time.
Thank both of you.
Donnie, you hang out right there, because we're gonna move on to invitation for public comment.
Oh,
You're the only one that signed up for public comment, so.
Yes, okay.
uh,
All right, let me pull this out because I knew y'all would be in a hurry and I didn't want to waste your time, so I typed it up. I wanted to comment on new business number 7, the consideration of a resolution for project development for the Jackson Short-Term Transitional Homeless Shelter. I would like to ask y'all to approve this resolution, as long as it's satisfactory to both of y'all. It's needed so badly. As Marta said, if you know me, you know that I have a passion for all people, unhoused people no differently, a great passion to serve them. And many of them I know by their real names. When I first came, they was telling me their street names, and now they trust me and they will tell me their real name. Many of them sit in the library all day long because they can't be anywhere else. You know, they can't be in your business, they can't be in a restaurant, so there's nowhere else to be. And libraries across the nation do this. The homeless sit in there all day. I'm not complaining about them sitting in the library, be clear of that. They're welcome to be there as much as any other person, as long as they're not creating a disturbance and following the conduct rules, which goes for everybody. And for the most part, they do. My only concern is the lack of seating available in the library. So on freezing days, on scorching days, on rainy days, starting Thursday, probably for multiple days, the library seating will be filled with unhoused people, leaving no seating available for people who want to use the library for library purposes. We believe a homeless shelter would reduce the number of guys sitting in the library because they just need somewhere to be. Because in our experience, once they are housed, we don't see them at the library unless they're actually using library services. They just want somewhere to be. And so I would also like to add that we would be fine with the homeless shelter being near the library, because we have much programming that we believe would be helpful in assisting homeless solutions to assist the unhoused in becoming self-sufficient. We have AA that meets there regularly for the ones that have substance abuse, GED classes, computer classes. We have a new project that's a state library's funding called Leg Up, where we will be taking all of the skills that they need, customer service, computer skills, and all the things that the different agencies need, and we'll be helping them to learn those to give them a leg up in employment. And we would also be able to help them with referrals, homeless solutions, since the first place people usually come if they're unhoused and they come here is to the library. And also, should the shelter be close enough to the library, they would also be able to use our wireless internet, saving them money on an internet connection. Please pass this resolution. Personally, I just wanted to ask you to remember Matthew 25 and 40, and as much as you've done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, you've done it unto me. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, as Ms. Harris' neighbor on the east side of downtown, I would just like to say thank you for the great job you do taking care of that vulnerable population of men in our community. You have been a great host from what I've seen, and you really make an impact on those men in the area. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Move on to first reading. Item 1 is proposed budget amendment to recognize and appropriate funds for a $10,000 donation from Love and Truth Church for a K-9 officer.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just want to say thank you to Love and Truth Church.
Beat me to it. Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 2 is proposed budget amendment to recognize additional $31,758 reimbursement from West Tennessee Healthcare for a shot spotter.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 3 is consideration of an ordinance to amend city code relative to the sale and use of fireworks.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Chief Riddle, you want to come and just give a brief synopsis of what this is?
Morning, Mayor and Council.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This ordinance will move to, one, clean up an ordinance that is currently on the books which has fireworks as illegal 365 days a year, and allow for the sale and the use of fireworks on set period of time, mainly centered around the 4th of July holiday and also New Year's Day. The sale will be, let me find my notes here. The retail periods will be June the 20th through July 5th and December the 18th through January 2nd from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. And then the use periods will be from June 30th through July 5th and December 28th through January 2nd, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. with extended hours on July 4th and December 31st until 12:30 a.m. What this will allow us to do is to actually, a couple of things. We can, the ordinance outside currently will allow us to enforce strict limitations outside of any set periods of time, which right now is very hard for us to do because even though they're illegal, unfortunately, they are shot within the city of Jackson. They're purchased within our neighboring counties, and they're brought into Jackson, and it's very overwhelming at times. So this sets forth some very strict limitations that will be better enforceable and also allow us to, again, be able to start talking about fire safety messages, because it was very counterproductive for them to be illegal in the city of Jackson and us to sit and talk about safety features. So if you're gonna shoot fireworks, here's what you need to do. So we always chose a route to, we're not even gonna discuss it. So this opens the door on safety measures that we can pursue. And also, we will be following the guidelines as far as the sale that the state of Tennessee has. Also, our counterparts in Madison County have adopted an ordinance, and this is gonna mirror their ordinance as well.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion, questions from council?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I just want to say I had a comment from a constituent why this didn't go through the code committee. And I just want to say it was thoroughly researched to back up everything that Chief just said about the fire safety, what they're going to do, and how thorough that you all looked at it. So I'm definitely behind it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember. Any other discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Before we move on to the next item, I want to recognize Dr. Sean Evans. We have great union students here. I had the pleasure of speaking with them last week. So students, y'all stand. We recognize you for being here today. Thanks for being here. All right. Item 4 is consideration of an ordinance to create a cost savings incentive program, employee cost savings incentive program. Ron, you want to?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This ordinance before you will create an opportunity for our city employees to identify ways to cut expenses, increase productivity and revenue throughout the city, and reward them for their diligence for that. I humbly ask that you pass it.
What's the reward?
The reward starts at $500 and then is 10% of the savings realized in the first year. So what happens is an employee would submit an idea. If it is approved, we would wait a year to calculate the exact savings, and then they would receive 10% of that plus $500, up to a limit of $10,000.
And who is it that approves it?
There's a committee that it goes for vetting to see if it's a new idea, if it truly is something unique that the city hasn't contemplated before. And then that committee makes a recommendation to the mayor for his ultimate approval, and the committee will give updates to council on ideas that have been approved.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just to comment on that, the committee makes a recommendation and the mayor approves. I'd love to have the city council vote on monies. So I'd like to make an amendment to that on section 4.3-303, cost saving in city committee, that we strike number 5, and number 6 says the committee will present to city council for approval.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, hold on, we have a motion on the table, hold on. The motion was to strike number 5?
Right.
And then have the committee recommend to the council? Or the
Committee present or recommend to the
Okay,
council
committee
for approval.
present to council for approval. So we have, as the motion is to strike number 5, and then the committee present to council for approval. That's the motion. Is there a second? Is there a second? Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second. All right.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to make sure that you're aware there will be a member of council on that committee.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, 43304, the vice mayor will be a member, so there will be some council representation on that body.
All right, do we have a motion on the ordinance as presented?
So moved.
Second. Motion, second. All right, any further discussion from council? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Thank you, council.
All right, thank you, Ron. Item 5 is consideration of a plan of service, proposed annexation and zoning for an area referred to as George White, comprising of 30.21 acres more or less, located north of Garrison Drive and Pine Hill Code. The proposed zoning is RS2, Single Family Residential District.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Good morning.
You have the materials pertinent to this annexation request. As we often tell you, this is a requested annexation. They have presented this to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission is recommending the annexation, the plan of service, and also the zoning of RS2. It does adjoin RS2 zone property. So I'll be happy to answer any questions, but you have the materials pertinent to this request.
So moved.
Have a motion and second. Discussion from council?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Godfrey, Mr. Sutherland for their presentation that they made to the council on Thursday. I thought it gave a really good insight and understanding of why we need to rezone some of these properties to help get affordable housing into the city. So thank you to those guys.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Just for the public, it is going to 70 foot, so that is certainly other subdivisions are there and even smaller.
Well,
So
this is an
70
annexation and it's RS2, so
Right.
it's a different requirement for RS2 than it is for RS1.
Right, and what would be the frontage?
On RS1, on RS2,
RS2.
they can go as down to 50, but most of the time it averages about 60.
Right, and there are subdivisions that are very, like, less than a half a mile with.
Well,
that
it's
or less.
adjacent to the crossings, which has RS2 zoning.
Right, so I think we need to move forward.
All right, any further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
All right, item 6, consideration of a plan of service, proposed annexation and zoning for an area referred to as Joel McAlexander, comprising of 3.35 acres more or less, located at the 300 block of Cooper Anderson Road. The proposed zoning is RS2, Single Family Residential District.
So moved.
Second.
Can you drink water? Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 7, is consideration of a plan of service, proposed annexation and zoning for an area referred to as Harris, comprising of 21.6 acres more or less, located at the southeast quadrant of US Highway 45 bypass and Highway 45 north. The proposed zoning is B5 Highway Business District.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 8 is consideration of an ordinance to rezone property located at the northwest corner of McClellan Road and Pleasant Plains Road from RSFH Single Family Residential Flood Hazard District to RS1FH Single Family Residential Flood Hazard District, comprising of 38.21 acres more or less.
I have some questions.
We have a motion,
Just
we have a
couple
motion, so we got a second first. We have a second?
Second.
Have a second now, we can, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so, some of my constituents were just asking about, you do not have to have a building plan before it's rezoned, correct?
No. The petitioner is requesting the zoning change for a residential subdivision, but because of the nature of his zoning request, the zoning will permit the lot sizes that he plans on developing in that subdivision. So no one is going to spend the engineering drawing money, the design money to develop something with no guarantee that they would get zoning. So once they have the zoning in place, if it's approved, those subdivision plans will be reviewed by the Planning Commission, and also will require a traffic study associated with that development.
And so if it gets approved after the plans come to the planning commission, there's not any covenants that can be put in place of what type of housing, like there couldn't be rental housing, we don't have, there's no authority to do that.
Well, there can be covenants. Again, those are private agreements with people that buy into the subdivision. So the developer can establish covenants. They're just not enforced by us because they're not public regulation. Now, when it comes to zoning and what you do regulate through zoning, we don't regulate house type, we don't regulate house value, and we don't regulate house square footages. We also don't regulate whether somebody wants to rent a house or own a house. You know, they can do that without zoning approval.
And are there some potential implications based on where this property is adjacent to the McClellan and Pleasant Plains property at the corner?
Well, you know, when we evaluate the appropriateness of a rezoning request, you look at the zoning classes that are in the area, and this property is adjacent to property that is already zoned RS1. So the term that's used often is similarly situated. This property is similarly situated to a property that's already zoned RS1. There's RS1 to the east of this property. So again, those are the things we use to determine if something's appropriateness, the appropriateness of a rezoning request. And also, you know, when you have similarly situated piece of property, to not consider them equally would be considered arbitrary and capricious, and that's the words the courts use when they're reviewing actions of legislative bodies.
Mr. Pilot, and what would be the square foot frontage for the public to know?
RS1 is 70 feet.
Yes.
And RS is what?
RS is 100 feet.
Any additional questions from council? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you.
Move on to second reading. Item 1 is proposed budget amendment to recognize $17,348.60 insurance recovery money for JPD Unit 2996.
So motion.
Second.
Motions and second. Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 2 is proposed budget amendment to recognize $39,804 on opioid abatement grants from Madison County.
So moved.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
All right, move on to new business. Item 1 is consideration of Pope School Offsite Improvement Agreement with Madison County and Jackson-Madison County School System.
Motion. Second.
Have a motion and second. Further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 2 is consideration of a resolution to support restoring the historic revenue sharing relationship between the state of Tennessee and its local governments. Calling Councilman Donnell.
Yes, sir.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
All right, now we'll call Councilman Donnell because I think we just want a presentation.
Thank you very much. Mayor, and Council, thank you so much for having this resolution on the agenda today. This is a resolution to support the restoring of the historic revenue sharing relationship between the state of Tennessee and its local government. We are pleased to have with us today Mr. Anthony Haynes, who is the Executive Director of the Tennessee Municipal League. And he's been there for some time now, and the Municipal League is the voice of all Tennessee cities and counties. I've asked him to come today to explain to the council, but also to the members of the public who are present and to those who are looking on television, because this is a matter that I deem to be very important. TML also deems to be very important because it could expand the revenue that the city of Jackson would receive from the sales tax. So I've asked him to come forth, and he's here now. So will you please come forth? And as he comes, let me just tell you a little bit about him. He's a West Tennessee homeboy, number one. He hails from Trenton, Tennessee, and did his undergraduate work at the University of Tennessee in Martin, and as well as a master's degree from Memphis State University, and then he went on to Harvard University and received his graduate certificate there. He's been involved in public service for some time, particularly in Washington, D.C., where he held administrative offices as well as directorships. He left Washington and came back to Tennessee and served as the executive director of the Tennessee Emergency Communications Board. And during his tenure, he led Tennessee to be one of the first states in the nation to complete the wireless E911 coverage statewide. So we're very pleased to have him today. And I would ask him just to give his presentation that he would include in it the historical relationship that we had with the state, why it was changed, how much Jackson would receive if it was returned to what it used to be, and how important it is for the citizens to be involved in contacting their legislators. Director Haynes, welcome to Jackson.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mayor, good to see you again, members of the council. Thank you for having me here today. And Councilman Donnell, thank you very much for authoring a resolution and your invitation to be here today. And I apologize that you have to sit next to one of my board members here, Johnny Dodd, but Johnny's been a great partner on our board. He's a member of the Tennessee Municipal League Board of Directors in helping us transform an 85-year-old quasi-government association into a modern, lean, mean fighting machine on behalf of Tennessee's 345 cities. So also want to recognize Nathan Reed right behind me. I've worked with him before, and you have a great person there. And traveling with me today, we're going to hit a few fellow cities of yours around the West Tennessee area, is Mr. Wade Morrell. Wade is the Chief Executive Officer of the Tennessee Municipal Bond Fund, an organization that our leadership created, a separate organization, in 1985. And since their inception, they have saved Tennessee taxpayers and cities almost $750 million that they would have otherwise paid in financing capital projects. When you deal with the bond fund, by the time it comes before council, it has been pre-approved by the Comptroller of the Treasury in Tennessee. So as caretakers of the taxpayers' dollars, that ought to give you a little bit more comfort that what you're signing off on has really had a close eye put to it. And pleased to have him with us today. I know you've got a full agenda, someone mentioned before, so let's cut right to the chase. Jackson is losing almost $1.5 million this fiscal year from the absence of Nashville honoring the shared taxing relationship that exists between Tennessee cities and state government. All Tennessee cities are losing about $92 million this current fiscal year. And as sales tax revenues grow from shared sales taxes, that number is only going to go up. When I started this job 4 years ago, going on 5, it was 81 million. So you can see what's not going to cities to help take pressure off the other taxing mechanisms that you have to go to pay, like the first responders that was before us today. I know former Mayor of Memphis, Jim Strickland, used to go to the legislature and say, if you would just honor this relationship, it would cover 1% of Memphis's cost in a cost of living adjustment for firefighters and police officers. It's real money, and it makes a real difference where the boots meet the ground. You may ask, where did that money go? Well, as some of you know, when the state got into a financial crisis about 2002, it avoided creating an income tax, but they added 1% sales tax that normally 4 cents of that dollar would have gone to cities. Instead, they said, we need to bail the state out, and they did. And that was back in 2002. They have never gone back and honored in that last 1% of sales taxes that they raised what they do on the rest of it that they collect. Out of every dollar, roughly about 4 cents goes back to Tennessee cities. And between shared sales tax and property taxes, that's how you pay the bills in the city. And in my opinion, after working on all three levels, federal, state, and now with locals, locals is where really America's at its greatness. It's where the rubber meets the road. It's where things really happen. So this is very important. We're going to continue working for this. Resolutions like yours today really help because this is a taxpayer issue. You know, you can always come up with revenues you may not like to on how to run a city. But if you want to do it and try to help taxpayers keep more money in their pocket at home and in the community, this is one way that the legislature could help us do it. Just to give you an example, when the state started its fiscal year last July 1, they had approximately, according to the state budget document, $260 million in recurring revenue surplus. When they start July 1 this year on the books, if my team is right, that number will be $422 million in recurring surpluses. Now, they have programmed, or if they pass the budget that's before them right now, they will consume in 1 year $418 million of that in one-time spending. So the next July 1, they will start with at least $400 million plus in surpluses. We have asked the Tennessee General Assembly, if nothing else, just to start phasing in, returning this last part of the 1% to Tennessee cities. And as I said, the exact number right now would be $1.453 million in this fiscal year to Jackson, Tennessee alone. My guess is you all have a lot of things that are needed that could be spent on. So what can we do to help? What can your citizens do to help? Tell your state legislators how important this is. Ed Jackson, Chris Todd, Johnny Shaw, even those that are not from this area, say, look, help us take some pressure off local taxes by allowing us to have this money back home to work with. And I'll be glad to answer any questions or allow you to move on with your work.
Any questions from council?
Okay, when this 1% was added,
yes, sir.
Nothing was done to the local option. That stayed the same, right?
That's correct. They doubled well, not the local option tax, but the single article tax. They doubled it, and there was a historic practice there of sharing it with counties and cities, but they did not share any of that doubling of that tax.
So when
yes,
this was passed, it was passed that the money would stay with the state?
yes.
Okay.
In theory, to give it back in 5 or 10 years when we got the state out of crisis, and now it's 20-some odd years later.
I'm all for getting local government more money, but what we're talking about here is not decreasing taxes, we're just keeping them the same and taking money that's now in the state and
That's
giving
right.
it to the city.
You
And
send it there. That's right.
And the state has done an excellent job. I mean, in the nation, we're one of the best, if not the best. But I just want to make that clear that this is just a transfer of money. It's not a increase or decrease in tax for the average citizen.
That's one reason we call it restore the practice, return the money back home, and give the taxpayers relief. Because that's, when you have that to work with, that's that much fewer opportunities you have to go to the taxpayer to pay the necessary services in the city.
And that's assuming the state keeps this surplus forever and ever.
If they keep coming through the border, you know, we've gone, when this started, this practice started, we had about 4 million people in the state of Tennessee. We're on track to have 8 by the end of the decade. So, yeah.
So there was no sunset in the law that
No, sir.
started giving?
No, sir.
And so
Your
just out of-
resolution will help send that message.
All right, any further questions?
I like to just boil it down to, we're tipping around it. What the real deal is that the state should give the money back to the cities, so the cities won't have to raise property taxes to pay for expenses, and the state just hasn't done it. There have been bills that have been going to the state for some time, you can say how long it's been, and they never pass it. And each time you talk to a state legislator, they say that, yeah, I'm in favor of that, but they never pass it. They don't use their influence to get others to vote for it to pass it. This is just an equitable bill that's presented or will be presented that restores the relationship that we've had for such a long time. The municipalities helped the state out when the state needed help. The state runs a surplus, but the state fails to give that money, that percentage back to the cities. And I think it's a shame that they do that. And I rest my case.
We appreciate you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Good job.
All right, any further discussion? Council, please vote.
8 to 1 abstain.
All right,
Thank you for coming.
thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Item 3 is consideration of a resolution to support the preservation and the manufacturing tax credits for Ford Blue Oval City.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, second. Any further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 4 is consideration of a contract with Daston for Google Enterprise Workspace.
Motion.
We have a motion to second. We have some audible yays in the audience from our employees. Brief synopsis, what it is.
This is a proposal to eliminate the email system we've had for, since I've been here. It's on site. This is a proposal to move it into the Google Workspace. It would also provide 150 additional email accounts for our firefighters who currently all do not have one just due to cost. Google has agreed to, it'll be a 3-year deal. The first year will be free for us to transition off of 6 other platforms. And the true difference after we transition off the other platforms would be $71,640 a year. But it would add quite a bit and put off at least $200,000 in immediate capital expenses for the infrastructure to keep the current system running.
All right, and first and second, any further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Y'all made some employees very happy today with that.
Us too.
Item 5 is consideration of a contract with Norwood Construction for the Canalco Road extension.
Motion.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 6, consideration of a contract with MSB Construction for the Jackson Animal Care Center shelter site for development.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Further discussion? Council, please vote. Oh, no, sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
I'd like to ask Nathan, could you give us the final update on the costs? You've done a lot, excuse me, done a lot of good work on that.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. There was a running debate over whether I'd get to say anything today, so I guess this is my chance. The total on the day that we presented the information to you last week was $2.689 million. We see an additional $775,000 in projected costs, which will take the total cost to about $3.46 million.
And there might be some stragglers, but that's
There are some
pretty
stragglers.
close.
I've seen a couple of invoices come in for things that were unaccounted for, but it's gonna be right at 3.5.
Okay, 3.5 million.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
I have a question.
Okay.
So when do we think the road will be complete? Or how long will this project take so we can get going?
So once the pre-construction meeting as well as the notice to proceed is given, so the Canalco Drive extension will be about 60 days for completion. And then the site development, same thing, pre-construction meeting and given notice to proceed, they stated 90 days for that one.
To start or
To completion, for construction completion.
Good.
Mhm.
Great.
All right, any further discussion? Council, please vote.
Thank you.
Motion passed 9-0.
All right, item 7 is consideration of a resolution for a project development agreement for Jackson Short-Term Transitional Homeless Shelter.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion?
Yes.
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 Yes, I think we need clarification.
Yeah, I'd like
I
to
just want to
ask
see Lewis sit down and stand back up.
Mr. Cobb to give us some clarification, because we got an email Friday, and it looked like this was off. And then I got an email at 4:25 with yesterday afternoon with a new resolution. So I want to express a little frustration there that I'm expected to vote on something today that I just got an email about last night.
We'll see if I can help you with that.
Thank you.
This project asked the city to do one thing, which is to give $600,000 for the creation of a homeless shelter. That request is still the same $600,000. The path of that money last week was the city would transfer that to the CRA. The CRA would then work with the Homeless Solutions, who would do the remodeling, buy the building, do the remodeling, and own the building. when I met for the first time with Amy McDonald, and I think I probably should have done that, or we should have done that a long time ago. She had more questions than I had answers, and it was complicated. And so I met with Amy McDonald and Vicki Lake, and they're both going to come up here in a minute. It occurred to me, as it occurred to them, the best way to do this and the simplest way to do this is for the money to be transferred from the city to the CRA, that the CRA would then buy the building, and the CRA would own the building and enter into a lease with homeless shelters for $1 a year, with homeless shelters being required to pay for the maintenance. If you take a look at the two documents, for those of y'all who kept the old one and the new, what you'll find is it's not a lot of things that are new, it's a lot of things that have been stricken. And I had highlighted in pink when I met with Ms. McDonald of the things which she had talked to me about over the phone, and about 2/3 of the document was in pink. If you look at paragraph 4, the general restrictions on the use of funds, that was the CRA was going to restrict the use of the funds. Then it was going to have requirement for release of funds, requirement for release of project funds, disbursement of funds, conditions precedent for funds, on and on about the relationship between the CRA and them. What the new document does is it just eliminates all that wording, all that back and forth, and I can understand Ms. McDonald's frustration. She's not in the construction business, the owning business. She's in helping homeless people or unhoused people business. Vicki Lake says, well, that's what we do. We'll be glad to take that on. The financial relationship between the city and this project is the same. It's, instead of having a 3-step process, we have a 2-step process. Instead of having a 13-page document, we have a 5-page document. Does that help?
Yeah, so the liability will not be on the city or on the taxpayer, then it would be on the CRA if there's any liability at all.
Are you talking about if somebody gets sued?
Correct.
Okay. The liability is governed by the Governmental Tort Liability Act, which provides a fairly clean action there. Somebody was asking me about that last night, and I was trying to think, what would the city as owner be liable for? And it would be some sort of catastrophe about the building itself. The building collapsed, or that we didn't have the right fire alarm system, or we had something wrong with the building. But most accidents, tort accidents in buildings, people slipping on water at the grocery store, people getting hurt by something dangerous about the building. Most of those things, though, most of those accidents are about the maintenance, about the keeping it clean, keeping it safe, and that would be what the tenant would be liable for.
Also, in the previous agreement, if it ceased to be a homeless shelter, it would come back to the city. Is that still the agreement?
Well, think about it. City never leaves the city. So it can't come back. It never left.
All right.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Just some notes to bring out. This is quite a bit less than what we had originally said for the homeless shelter. This is $600,000. We did agree to that last year. Just for the public to note, Tennessee Homeless Solution has never asked the city of Jackson for money. If you look at other nonprofits that we try to support and times that by, Miss Amy, may I ask how many years y'all have been in Jackson? So if you times that by the current year, and as you had Ms. Harris speak to it, and I don't believe that the public is opposed to this location. So I just wanted that to be clear to the public, that they know what we're doing and that we're not spending in excess of what we had already budgeted for this.
Thank you, Councilman.
So this shelter, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, lost point of you. I'm sorry. Yeah.
This shelter will house how many?
Above my pay grade.
Okay.
And can we ask Ms. Lake to come up too to speak on the CRA, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Let's move
Thank
on.
you.
Nigger, I'll go.
So the goal is 20 beds.
And these rotate roughly every 90 days, we hope that, is that correct?
Yes.
That, there's not a fixed rule on that, that's just a goal, or is it a fixed rule on having to be out in 90 days?
Shelter under HUD rules is 90 days.
So they'll would have to leave if they, no matter what.
So,
The,
but in conjunction with our permanent housing programs, we don't see that being an issue.
so we're basically gonna have $260,000 for remodeling, and I think at one time you were telling us that you had talked to some contractors and all that might be willing to.
Yeah, so we have some donors. If it passes today, we're gonna meet next Monday and start to get a budget together.
So with the building, 360,000, do we have a list of what the other 240 plus the donations are gonna have to take care of?
So we'll have 260,000.
Let me speak to that. One of the things that we had not done is put them in position to spend the time and money and resources to get that done.
Okay.
The CRA is going to do that. The CRA is going to make sure that there's enough money to complete the project. Is that right?
Yeah, yes, sir. The CRA has an established process. When we approve a project, we approve it in principle, but then the developer, the entity we're working with, has to come up with a detailed budget, a timeline for us then to enact on that. So we will require, once this is approved, for Tennessee Homeless Solutions to come up with that information.
Okay, and we're pretty sure it's gonna be over 240,000.
Well, we'll have 260. The building's 340.
Okay.
Ms. Lake, can you also just spend a minute to say how this is gonna help the community, how West Tennessee Healthcare has been so, all the facts and figures. Can you just give the public a minute of how this is gonna help everyone?
Sure, Ms. Wallace. We're involved, West Tennessee Healthcare is involved in the homeless situation. We are what's called the collaborative applicant for all the homeless activities in West Tennessee. With that, for the last 15 years, I have chaired the homeless point in time count that we do every year in January. This year we did it on January 22nd, which was, to that point in time, the coldest day of the year. We counted that day 160 unsheltered homeless people in Jackson, Tennessee. I have never chaired a committee that went out and counted that many unhoused people. And this shelter, our community needs this shelter so that we can provide services to these people. Tennessee Homeless Solutions, when they do the warming shelter, has an excellent track record of getting these people into permanent housing. Excellent record of doing that, and that is our goal, to get them in housing, get them a job, get them benefits. And that is why we really, as a community, we need this. We do not need these people walking the streets. The downtown businesses are there to make money. It scares them. It scares their customers. We as a community need to come together and have a shelter for these people. It's best for the community. It's best for the people. And it's best for downtown. And West Tennessee Healthcare has so much faith in Tennessee Homeless Solutions. We have a contract with them. As a public entity, we do not discharge homeless patients. We work with Tennessee Homeless Solutions to find homeless patients a place to go. We have a separate contract, and we have $300,000 starting in July funding that we receive from HUD to help us find these people permanent housing. So as an organization that I work for, we are deeply involved in this, but this is a project that we really need to come together as a community and do.
Thank you, Dr. Lake.
Thank
Councilman Morris.
Because you said you saw about 120 homeless that day?
160.
160. This is for 20. Do we need to stop where we are and look and see if we need to redesign this for a bigger place? Because we're talking about taking care of like 20%?
A lot of these people are transients, and we will also, this will be a low barrier, no barrier shelter. This will be a place where if you have an animal, mentally ill, have a substance abuse issue, It will be no Berry. We also have room at the inn here in the community that goes, you know, and for the churches who do that, with all due respect to the churches and the staff, they are volunteers. They are not trained to adequately handle mental illness, substance abuse, people with animals, but they do feel a huge need in this community. But that doesn't meet the total need. That's why room at the inn will continue, and they serve, I believe, about 30 a night. And then our shelter will also, this proposed shelter will also help.
I have a quick.
Councilman McMean, then Councilmember Bowden.
If I understand correctly, this is the first phase of helping them into a more stable situation, then to another stable situation.
Right, so like I explained to the council before, prior to the shelter, while they're waiting for location of permanent housing, getting signed up for it, they're having to stay on the streets. So now they'll have a place to actually be, prior to going into that permanent housing unit. So if you think about the rotation, it may be 20, but the rotation of that is going to be 80 to 100 a year, depending on the individual situation.
But you're working with them while they're in this
Yes,
homeless
just
shelter.
like we're working with them while they're on the streets.
Yes.
But
You
now
just need
you're
this
gonna have
temporary.
this, I think downtown, once it's open, and maybe after 3 months, there's gonna be a huge visibility difference, I believe, in the downtown area.
I want to remind council that this is.
Councilmember Busby
Oh, I
is next
apologize.
recognized.
I was just gonna ask kind of what Frank had mentioned, so initially when the new, facility was gonna be built, like you had mentioned that there's gonna be like employment people, education people, like health and wellness, to be working with them within the 90 days. Is that still
That
going to?
still stays,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, I just
Mhm.
wanted to make sure
Yeah,
that
those supportive services and those outside services.
will still,
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Mr. Chairman, that's what I
Councilman
was gonna
Dodd, then-
say.
okay,
Thank you.
okay,
That's all I
perfect. All right.
wanted to reiterate. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Dodd.
I just want to say, I think we're moving in the right direction. But I think we're going to have to get more involved. I mean, it's a great plan, but 20 people, as I look across our city, that's basically putting a Band-Aid on what we're trying to do. I mean, we got a major issue with homeless folks in our community, and we continue to put a Band-Aid on it. And I think we're going to have to continue to look at something more, that's going to make a more impact to make a difference in our city. Because right now, it's sad to see the people out walking. Then it's like, you know, we had a couple of people that died, and then we want to start to do something then. But I think we need to continue to see where we can find money to make an impact that's going to make a difference. Because the 20 people is not really, it's not doing anything. You can walk outside now and see 20 people sitting across the street now. What about the other 40 and 60 that we know is out there? The tents behind different locations that we know is out there that still have no help.
Yeah. So
So I
there's
just
there's not a one thing fix all, so you have to take several different pieces working together to make that difference.
Are
So
there-
the shelter itself is not going to be the fix all.
Right.
The other pieces with the shelter, with permanent housing, with all that, that's gonna be the fix.
And I just want to follow up with, HUD awarded West Tennessee almost $5 million this year, most we've ever gotten in our continuum
Right.
for homeless, to provide permanent housing throughout West Tennessee.
Yeah, are there any statistics that show, because my concern here is that we are putting a big welcome sign to bring from surrounding communities, surrounding areas, for a homeless population to say, hey, they're gonna house you, they're gonna take care of you, come to Jackson. So opening a facility like this, are there any statistics that show we're gonna see an increase in our homeless population?
It's okay if I take one back? Sure. Okay. I think part of our homeless situation is the geographical location of Jackson, Tennessee. I-40, 45, 412. So we have a lot of people who are transients that come into our community. We don't have a shelter now.
Right.
This will provide a safe, secure place for them. I do not think you will see having a shelter cause the increase. The increase is specifically related to lack of affordable housing, people being evicted, domestic violence, when you're automatically homeless if you're a domestic violence victim. I think it's not related at all to us having a place to put them. What we will do is provide them a safe, secure place to live temporarily so we can help them get back on their feet.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
A couple things. Amy, thank you for your patience. We have been, several of us, tiptoeing through this process with you for a number of years now. And I hope that we can make this happen because, you know, the second point, I've spent the majority of my life in and around downtown Jackson, right there across the street from the library. And this issue that we are seeking to help is nothing new for this area. It's been going on for years now. It ebbs and flows certain times, but this is a much needed resource. I like the fact that it is right across the street from the library, which is in of itself a tremendous resource for the unhoused. And it's just a short bus ride to Rifle for Warm Mills. So, you know, it alleviates the concerns of downtown business people, I guess, on the more central western side. And those of us on the east side of downtown hope to be your neighbor soon.
And thanks to the Jackson Leadership Group for our transport van. So we do have that.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Ms. Lake, I believe that you provided some statistics earlier that you all already have this database. So you already are aware of some that are already in Jackson. Going back to Councilman Stovall's question, that you already are aware of the people, and those are who you would start with first. Is that correct?
Yes, we have, we've been doing quarterly outreach as we came together with the downtown businesses last June, April, when they expressed lots of concerns for us. So we now have quarterly outreach. All the homeless agencies get together. The Pathways, Mental Health, Primary Care Bus comes, West Tennessee Legal Services, Southwest Human Resource Agency comes. We meet at RIFA once a quarter and spend the day getting homeless people signed up for services and housing. We have all the agencies there. We walk through the encampments. We walk through downtown in teams to identify them and try to get them services. So we've been identifying people through our quarterly, and Amy through Tennessee Homeless Solutions, the ones that they get assigned to them, she assigns a caseworker to all of them.
Okay. Lastly, I just want to note, Ms. Kirk is here, and we still appreciate her past efforts to get this done. And as Councilman McKelvey said, several of us have been on this boat for 5 years, so we appreciate it.
Ms. Kirk, I don't know of Ms. Kirk.
Ms. Kirk.
She left us here. Yes. All right, any further discussion?
I just want to thank Amy. It broke my heart to read your email on Friday after all the efforts that we'd been through to try to do this.
But this guy right here.
I know, and I saw you. I saw you leave our meeting, and y'all sitting out there on Thursday, and it kind of broke my heart.
Amy,
But
we
then
were
to come
working
today
Saturday.
and see this, it made me feel so good. Thank you.
And Lewis was working Saturday.
Yes, thank you, all of y'all.
He didn't.
Council, please vote.
Thank you.
Are we voting?
Yes, voting.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 8. Thank you.
Y'all go do good work.
Consideration of a contract with Delta Contracting Company LLC for street resurfacing project.
So moved.
Yes, I want to
Motion.
second that,
No,
underline it, exclamation
We got a
point.
motion second, and we got discussion.
Just a quick one. Will this be, like the street paving, the specific streets be
Yes.
online for constituents to see?
Yes, we're not that packet, but we're gonna have Kenny has a graphic we're gonna put up.
Perfect.
Waiting for you all to pass it. We didn't know if y'all passed it or not, so.
Oh, come on now.
Come on now.
Okay, thank you.
Nobody wants
All right.
paved streets.
Council, please vote.
I'll make sure Seaman
Motion passed 9-0.
All right, item 9 is consideration of a contract with MSB Construction LLC for Carl Perkins Civic Center seating replacement.
So moved.
Second. Motion second. Further discussion?
Yes.
Council, yes?
I just wanted them to be able to talk and tell the public how great it's gonna be. Thank you.
It's gonna be great, public.
Cup holder.
Can
It's gonna be the best seats ever.
Mayor and councilman, let me share with you, I just want to recognize a couple of people. First off, Sean, who is the director at the Carl Perkins Civic Center, who has taken all of the incoming fire, because this is a 7-week project, starting December the 1st through the middle of January. She had to shift a whole lot of organizations that utilize the center. And she did it with grace and professionalism. Some people aren't happy, but they still will be able to have their events. We understand that. And I want to just let you all know in the public that she did a hell of a job.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the other group is our city maintenance department, Kirk. They saved us about $25,000. They took out and broke down and removed the old risers. And we scrapped them, and we'll be getting some money from selling it to Godow. So I wanted the city and the council to know that we have the best city maintenance department in the state. And that's just what I wanted to share with you all.
And also our Civic Center, the Civic Center crew also helped them.
Yes,
Yeah, our Civic Center crew also helped them.
They're gonna be the best risers ever,
Yes,
the greatest.
yes.
Cup holders.
Cup holders.
Now, can you seriously say about the cleanups, the painting, and the lights quickly so the public will know what's going on for this being closed for 7 weeks?
Okay, so the risers, it's gonna take 7 weeks because they have to build them inside the Civic Center. But these risers will have lights for safety. They will have, we're gonna paint the Civic Center black, hopefully. So it'll give the riser, it'll set off the risers. The risers will be, it would take 1 day where it took 3+ days at first. Also, these risers will have, the warranty on these risers, the understructure is 10 years. The plastic wood and painting, electrical and power is 5-year warranty, and the upholstery is a 1-year warranty. And they're gonna be great, they're gonna be beautiful. And they also have, these risers where the last risers, the forklift would basically kind of contribute to tearing them up, but these risers have a component where the forks actually goes. So there should be no other place on the risers that the forklift would touch, but in that area, because that's what it's designed for.
And then they have a beam that will point and line, and you can have the steering column, it will line it up so that it lines up right in place. Where previously, much of the damage came from them trying to push it in place, and so this is an improvement. As she mentioned, where it used to take 3 days to put the risers in, now it would take 1 day.
You wait 51 short years, you get good stuff. All right, any further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
All right, item 10, thank you guys. Consideration of a contract with Green Space Solutions for vacant lot mowing services.
So moved.
Motion, second. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, quickly, approximately how many of these vacant lots do we have that will be tended to?
It's about 250.
250. Thank you.
Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 11 is consideration of a contract with Blue Cross Blue Shield for administration services for health, dental, HIPAA, COBRA, vision, and stop-loss reinsurance.
So moved.
Second. Motion second. Further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 12 is consideration of committee and board appointments. Audit Committee, appointment of Ross Pretty.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second. I see him back there. If you want to ask me grilling questions, please do so. Council, please vote.
Motion passed 8 to 1 abstain.
No.
Motion passed 9 to 0.
Civil Service Commission, the appointment of Tom Bridges.
Motion.
Motion? And second. Any further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9 to 0.
Item 13, budget amendments less than 10,000. Item 14, consideration of invoices over 10,000.
So moved.
Motion.
Motion is second. Have a
Second.
motion?
Second.
Second. Further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9 to 0.
No further business. Meeting is adjourned.
Okay, sorry.